Hello guys, I'm just getting home from the lab. It's 10 p.m. and if I'm being completely honest, I had a terrible day. So let's talk about it. And this is definitely not a cry for help, nor a please feel bad for me. I want to lay that out. It's more of a, it's okay to feel sad. I feel like especially in academia and grad school, everybody is trying to pretend like everything is okay all the time when really it's not. And maybe if you see that it's not okay for me, you might realize that, it's okay to not be okay all the time. I think it's honestly completely normal. I actually don't know why nowadays it feels like you are forced in society to pretend like you're 10 out of 10 happy. I don't know why it's so socially unacceptable to be sad and not be okay. Life is tragic. Life sucks. Why do I need to pretend like life is the best thing on the entire planet? Like, no, I'm doing things actively every single day to make life suck less, but that doesn't mean life doesn't suck. But that's just the philosopher in me. I guess I'm a philosopher now. For me, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a perfectionist, but I am a control freak. But I do think that it stems from deep-rooted insecurities and me being super afraid to be vulnerable because I'm afraid of rejection and I'm afraid of failure. So one thing that I've been actively trying to do lately, it's called exposure therapy, where you put yourself in situations to get rejected. So each time you get rejected, it hurts less, I guess. To me, it still hurts a lot, but I mean, maybe we'll get there. Put my feelings out on the line. So why did I have a bad day? Well, to start off, I had an acquaintance tell me yesterday that him and all his friends essentially find my content very, very cringe. And I know that I shouldn't be affected by that, but nobody likes being hated on. You know what I mean? Like, I know some of the stuff that I post is cringe, okay? But it's like, you just don't want to hear it said out loud. And when you're told that, you just wake up and you're like, damn, I'm a loser who's cringe and I suck. So I was like literally moping around the lab all morning long. I was like, I suck at chemistry. I suck at everything I do. And I'm like weeping and my colleagues are like, are you good? I'm like, I'm great. I'm fine. And then to top it off, I wanted to run a reaction because recently I've been writing this manuscript and I sent it to one of the postdocs in my group. Love her so much, but she edited it and there's some more experiments I have to do. So I'm like, okay, I need to synthesize more of this one compound. So I'm already moping around the lab and I go and I open up the fridge to get some starting materials. And somebody had put a bunch of my compounds in the fridge door. Maybe there wasn't enough space in the section they used to be, but I open the door and they fall off the door and like 10 of my compounds that I have synthesized smashed all over the floor. So I was like, perfect. Like, this is gonna be a great day. And then you have to just keep on smiling, because you can't just throw a hissy fit because we are full-grown adults in a collegial situation at work, right? So I can't just start screaming and swearing like I could if I was like 5 years old. It's tough as an adult because we can't throw tantrums anymore because maybe it would be nice to just be able to throw a tantrum and get it over with, but no, I have to just pretend like I'm okay all day long when really I'm like, this sucks. And usually I find when you wake up in a bad mood and you feel like everything sucks, it just sets the stage for the entire day and then the entire day ends up sucking. I don't know if that's happened to you too. So safe to say after that happened, I was like, F this, maybe I should just go home. But I go into my office and I'm sitting there just once again moping, feeling bad for myself. Cause, life is tragic. And one of the postdocs is like, what's wrong? And then I ended up telling her, and then I started yapping about it for a little bit, and then we started laughing. I was like, and then before you knew it, we were laughing. And I was like, look, okay, it's really not that deep. Nothing is that deep. But in the moment, obviously, when you're sad and you feel like everything sucks, it feels like it's that deep, and it is that deep. That probably sounded not poetic at all, but I hope you're catching my drift with what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I want to say it took me, if I arrived at the lab at like 9 a.m., it took me till around 3 p.m. today to actually start doing stuff and being productive. Because till then, my mindset was so negative, I could not bring myself to do anything. But once again, it's okay to have bad days. Not every single day is going to be a good day, especially as a PhD student or a grad student or an undergraduate student or a student in general. Never mind, actually, if you're a person, if you wake up as a human being, not every day is going to be a good day. But like I said, that's okay. I want to start talking about this more because it honestly really pisses me off that everybody says that you just have to be okay all the time because that's just not realistic. I think it's normal to feel sad and not be okay, but people just hate talking about it, and they want everybody to portray like they're the happiest, best versions of themselves every single moment of the day, especially with social media, which is the most toxic thing on the entire planet, because everybody is just highlighting the best components of their life. They're like, oh, look at this. Like, even like LinkedIn, for example, you're like, look at all the great things I do every single day, right? When in reality, oh, you got that paper published and now it's super exciting, but the whole year that it took to write that paper and going through multiple rounds of peer review, like, no, there was 90% of the days this year I felt like I was in the gutter before I got my first authorship paper published. But then what do we end up doing? Once it's published, we say, hey, look at this, best year of my life, look at this data, huzzah! And we don't mention in the post how hard it was to get to that stage. We just post the end result and say, look at this, congratulate me. And then everybody must think, oh, these people are living their best lives, they're so successful, everything's going great. When in reality, that's just not the reality. The reality is 99% of the days just suck. But once again, nobody's talking about it. But you know what? I am now. I'm going to start talking about it. And then hopefully more academics and more people pursuing careers in general will start talking about mental health and the fact that, you know, none of us are probably that mentally okay. But that doesn't mean we need to get sent to the insane asylum. It just means that we're human. With that said, though, I'm not trying to sound insensitive, and like, back to my point today. I was feeling really terrible all morning long, but then as soon as I spoke to my colleague and my friend and we just talked about it, then I started to feel a lot better. So if you are struggling, talk to somebody. Reach out to your friends. Maybe get a therapist. Talk it out. Write it out. Or even something that helps me when I feel really, really, really bad is watching philosophical videos on YouTube. Like Carl Jung. No, it's definitely Carl Jung. I hate to disrespect your name by, even though, you know, R.I.P. Carl, by pronouncing it wrong, but I love you so much. And you save me continuously, especially when I feel really, really alone. Like Stoicism and Carl Jung really, really, really help me. And I really recommend to anybody that's not feeling okay to try to just learn more about yourself, which might make you feel worse initially. The more introspection you do, you might be like, wow, now I really feel bad. But then you sort of get a sense of calmness once you realize that the more you know about yourself, even if it's negative things, you have the opportunity to actually become in control of it and get in the driver's seat of your life and your emotions. Something for me is like learning what my triggers are. So for me, something that makes me feel very triggered is anytime that I feel like I am not in control of something. I feel very vulnerable and exposed, and what does it do? It makes me completely retreat. But if I continue to live my life this way, then I'm never actually going to have the opportunity to maybe make really deep connections, even if it's with a friend or a work colleague or a project at work. So what I need to do, and I don't know if you relate to this, is just to remind myself more often that it's okay to fail. And it's okay to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. Because if you put yourself out there, then that's a win, because 90% of people wouldn't even take that step and be brave to do something that they're afraid of doing. So even if it doesn't end up working out, well, you're probably going to learn something and grow as a person from it, which is a beautiful thing in itself. I don't even know what I started talking about in the beginning of this video, and I didn't write a script, so I feel like this video has made absolutely no sense, but I just wanted to yap with you guys. But moral of the story though, even though this morning was terrible and I was sad all morning long and I felt like a loser, lost 10 of my compounds that I worked really hard over the past few months to make, and I'm gonna have to remake them all, it's really not that deep. And I feel really grateful to be alive today. And lastly, it's okay to not be okay all the time. Life is hard, school is hard. If you're doing anything worth your time, you're gonna have bad days. So don't let anybody tell you different. And if you need help, reach out to a friend, get a therapist, DM me. I love to chat to you guys, and we'll get through this together. Love y'all so much. Now I'm probably gonna go to bed. If you made it this far, God, now this is cringy. Let's make this super cringy. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, save, and or subscribe to my channel if you like my content and you made it this far. Also leave a comment down in the comment box below if you have a question for me or a suggestion for a future video. Slay, guys. It's all gonna be okay. It seriously, no, jokes aside, it is gonna be okay. We got this.